Welcome back and thank you for staying with us right here on Morning at NTV. The nation is still in shock after watching that video of former FDC President Kizza Besigye almost blown off his car by a water cannon in Kireka. This violence was explained away by police as a result of FDC's refusals to change venue for a party event. So we ask, what happened in Kireka? And to answer this, we have the FDC party spokesperson Ibrahim Semujungande, who was also the organizer of this event. He joins me right now in studio. Good morning, Mr. Semuju.
Thank you.
So let me start off by asking this pertinent question. Are your constituents safe?
I have 60 people who were arrested. They released, I think, many of them. I have 3 who are in Zambia hospitalized. So yes, at the moment we are safe because police went away. But the scars, the wounds that were inflicted on our people, I think they will live with for many years.
What really happened in Kireka?
See, the FDC asked me to organize a seminar, and I wrote to police under the Public Order Management Act, informing the IGP and all the commanders up to Chira Division that we will have a conference at Nambole to discuss politics, because FDC is not an NGO. The moment FDC calls a meeting, you know you're going to discuss politics. Politics both national but also internal within the FDC. How do you prepare campaigns? What some other people don't know is that the Electoral Commission, the National Electoral Commission, issued a roadmap. We are now halfway. In 3 months from now, there will be elections at every village in Uganda in March next year of councils for people with a disability, the women, the youth, and the elderly. So any political party that is not run as a company must, as of necessity, begin preparing for those elections and other milestones on that roadmap released by the Electoral Commission. But that meeting was also supposed to discuss the general governance problems in Uganda. We had a meeting just 3-4 days ago in Butarija. We were tear gassed. Even when the party president, Patrick Amriad, went to convene a small meeting of FDC leaders in Busia, one of the divisions in Busia, the mayor is FDC. The meeting was at his residence. It was tear gassed. So he said, yes, we have an FDC internal timetable for elections, both internal and national, but we must also discuss the environment and which we do politics. So that's what the meeting was about in Nambole. I wrote to the IGP on October 14th, and every single day I sent a member of staff from my office to go and follow up the letter. On Saturday, hours to the event, after I had spoken to the Minister of Internal Affairs, because police refused to reply, but they also refused to pick my calls. So the Minister for State for Internal Affairs, Obiga Kani, told me, let me call them, they will call you. They refused. So in the evening, I used another telephone line, and Asumanu Mujenyi, who is the director of operation, you remember, is the one who issued an order during the constitutional changes that 2 MPs cannot go to address a rally. That Asumanu Mujenyi. So eventually I got him. I told him what. Said, no, we have issued the letter, it is in the registry, you are not supposed to hold a seminar in an open space, and you don't have evidence you paid Nambole. I said, but the receipt is here. He said, why personalized? I'm going to switch you off. I said, this is your phone. Do I give you orders to switch me on and off? Then he eventually switched off. Clearly, having worked with them before, I knew that they didn't want the meeting to go on. But it was too late for me to stop it. People started coming in the morning. They found when all the roads leading to Nambole closed, I told them, you come to my office in Kireka, then we'll see what happens next. And eventually when the party president came, he said, but let's go and hold it at Najanankumi. If they can't allow, Najanankumi is ours. So on our way to Najanankumi, that's why they intercepted us, closed the road, started corroborating everybody, nearly killed Dr. Besigye. So this was a premeditated act that we were going to go and cause violence and go and beat up people, overwhelm them, and eventually, maybe if that's what they wanted, they achieved it.
Then why does police say that you defied them on a change of venue?
Which venue? You paid Nambole. There are no people, because initially you're going to step on people's tomato. You are going to hold a meeting in the market. Now we went where there is nobody. Now they said, so where do we go? In heaven? Because the last time we were going to have a meeting near the open space in Jokers, they said it's near the railway. Now even Nambole, where we paid the money, they said you can't hold it. Maybe they need to create venues in the heaven and bring maybe aircraft and airlift our people to heaven. Because if you can't allow someone to hold a meeting at Nambole, where else can that person hold a meeting? Because the accusation always, we are disturbing people, we are disturbing the market, we are stepping on tomatoes. We said, okay, we'll have it at Nambole where there is nobody. Now you don't have it there. And you are telling me that on Saturday, on Friday evening, had 48 hours to the event. Because they knew that, because if I must go and clear with the venue, pay for it, and then come back to police, the intention was just to fail. So the venue was just a tactic. Yeah.
Well, the police also contains that the ploy to hold this meeting was to incite violence in that regard, and that it had nothing to do with just a political meeting, like you wanted to use this avenue to incite the public to cause violence. Is this true?
Is that the reason they are beating journalists who were holding placards and a petition going to the police headquarters? Is that also the reason they went to and broke into rooms of Makerere students? So you can see the trend. That has become the standard way of response. Violence, gunpoint. They can now look for reasons. I think they have a blueprint where you just fix in reasons. But the idea is that the citizens must not do anything. They must accept to be ruled at gunpoint. I went to Chambogo yesterday, Chambogo University, where the administration allowed the FDC chapter in Chambogo to hold, they call them assembly. Immediately I arrived at the gate, they said, no, this is only students. You can't come. But the elections for youth, you need students to participate because they are between the age of 18 to 30. They are the ones who are going to be candidates and campaigning for the youth elections in March. You can't meet them at the university. Now they have said they are students. So I think they have taken a decision. Mr. Museveni and his administration have taken a decision. We're not going to allow any competition, but we will do a lot of propaganda to show that the opposition, everybody opposed this government is weak. They are not organizing, they are just shouting. Let them allow us 1 week, you will see what will happen in this country.
Before you came on to the show, we had an NRM leaning
and I was watching.
Mr. Subuga Kenneth, and he was saying, FDC is not a threat. They should be given freedom to shout all they want, wave all they want, but we continue to see police, reining in on the opposition. So if they're not scared of anything, why do they keep doing this?
You see, in Subuga and many others, they will want to speak on behalf of NRM, but they are peripheral. Decisions in NRM are not taken by these peripheral fellows. They are taken by the man himself and a few personnel at his disposal. They issued a roadmap. Do you see him following it? You will see him meeting a butcherman, meeting Kusasira, meeting a full figure, because he doesn't follow. So the strength that they keep throwing in people's faces is the strength every political party since the end of colonialism has used. That the strength of the state. Last time when President Museveni as chairman of NRM wanted to go around the country, he came to Parliament with a supplementary request, and majority of MPs are NRM, and Parliament approved 40 billion shilling that he was going to popularize wealth creation. And at each meeting, there was a resolution declaring him a sole candidate. Maybe by Museveni becoming a sole candidate, everybody will become rich in Uganda, because that was the main content of these meetings. So he understands that that's why he's using the state, he's using the military, he's using police. But these commentators, peripheral as they are, they want to create an impression that they know what is going on even within NRM when they actually don't. Because the FDC, if you say we are making noise, allow us to make the noise. If we are just noisemakers, allow us to go and assemble in Nambole. We've been tear-gassed everywhere we have gone. Because there is nobody you're going to go. The other day I was explaining Makerere situation. The president has 240 billion shilling for donation. That is his budget this year, just one item. And Makerere students are striking because of 15% increment on tuition. And the total amount, if corrected and no defaulter, Makerere will realize 4.6. The president has 240 billion in his pocket in sacks, in boxes to go and throw at people. And you have Makerere with 33,000 students not attending classes because of 4 billion. This message Museveni can't allow to go to the population, because they tell you how many times has Dr. Tiza Besigye, Engineer Patrick Amuriat have been pulled out of radio stations in the countryside, because they want to use the ignorance of the population, and they know The main contribution we are making to Uganda is raising people's civic awareness, and they can't allow that to continue. It's not that they don't know the damage that is doing.
So that's the reason why they are stopping you in your tracks.
They can't allow you, because the moment you tell Ugandans, you have 33,000 students at Makerere not attending classes because of 4.6 billion, and then you have a president with 240 billion for donation to Kusasira, to Butcherman, and anyone who can impress him. It will take someone insane not to know that this country is in big problems, and they don't want that information to spread. They can contain it in Kampala with the gun, with the police and military. That's the only reason they are not allowing us freedom to go and...
So if information is contained and the public has not been well sensitized on what is happening, could it be the reason why they keep voting the NRM, like Mr. Nsubuga contends?
But they are voting at gunpoint. Do they vote NRM? You don't know what happened in Hoima. They had ballot papers were distributed to NRM 2 days before elections. That election we won, like we've won many elections in Uganda. But you have an electoral commission which works as a department of NRM.
But Mr. Semuju, where is the evidence? We've had this, votes have been rigged, but there is no evidence at all.
Where do you live? You didn't see what happened in Hoima.
We saw what we saw, but then where's the tangible evidence to pin them?
Tangible evidence, I have told you NRM had votes 2 days before elections.
You also said they had shifted some polling areas in Hoima.
I didn't say.
We didn't also see
you were the one broadcasting those images of NRM with ballots. When we got them, the military came and took them away. You see, you shouldn't be surprised. I've said this many times. When Mubarak was in charge of the military in Egypt, his party was winning by 81% in each election. The moment Mubarak got out of power, the Justice Party won the next election. So let me tell you, the day Museveni loses state power, the day Museveni loses the military, the day Museveni loses police and the electoral commission, NRM will be lucky to get 15%. See what happened to Kanu in Kenya. The day they lost the military, the next elections, the Kanu candidate got 17%.
And that could be the reason why they don't want Museveni to go, because it will create a power vacuum.
No, they don't want to lose the state. It's actually not Museveni. They don't want to lose the state.
You're saying there's no other candidate in the NRM?
They know, but they don't want to lose the state. At the moment, it's Museveni who is at the helm of the state. If they get another person into government and is using the state the way Museveni is using it, they will not even remember that Museveni ever existed. They simply don't want to lose the advantage of using the state to win elections, to rig elections, to beat up people, to disperse rallies. That's the advantage that they are holding on to. And the day they lose it, I can tell you, NRM will be lucky to get 15% of the votes.
Well, the government also says that you're campaigning right now, and it's not campaign season. You contend these are meetings, but then we also saw Kasula Lumumba in Mbale trying to tout the Mbale residents right there to vote the NRM. So I don't know. Is it selective application of the law where the NRM gets to hold their rallies, and then when it comes to opposition, no, you should stay at home?
First of all, we are not campaigning. We are a registered political party that is allowed to sell itself. If that, in the interpretation of NRM, is campaigning, that is provided for under the law, the Political Parties and Organization Act. Because every single day political party is supposed to be recruiting people, is supposed to be mobilizing, supposed to be sensitizing. You have leaders who are coming in almost every day. But I have told you, Mr. Museveni will not allow any competition. He's holding Uganda at gunpoint. It's like this is his career. He should be the one determining who enters and when. So he can't allow anyone to go. Because when you stop, for example, Bob Wine from singing, he has a show in Busabara, and you say, no, you can't sing. I've told you, I went to Chambogo University to meet FDC leaders, not even the university, it wasn't a public rally. So no, you can't meet. They brought a patrol, packed the main gate. So I think we've gone back to 1986, when President Museveni captured power. They outlawed political parties and allowed them only to operate at the headquarters. Political parties were not allowed to hold delegates conferences and then to go to the countryside. I think along the way with social media, with TV, with radio, he realized that it is difficult now to stop the level of sensitization going on in the country. Then he must curtail the leaders. You can't move. You go to Butareja, you are fired. You go to Busia, you are beaten. And then they will say, NRM is very strong, the opposition is weak. You are just shouting in Kampala.
Okay, Mr. Semuju, I see the tormentor has been named, and Dr. Kizza Besigye has come out to say he's going to pursue them individually. Is this the party plan now?
First of all, there is Dr. Kizza Besigye the people's president as a victim. He will take them to court as a victim.
Individually.
But also as Ugandans. For example, I am the one who organized the R on behalf of, the seminar on behalf of the FDC. I paid the Nambole, paid other service providers. In fact, on Saturday when Tent for You is a company hiring out tents came to elect a tent, they nearly got arrested. So we have also registered losses as a political party, both of time. I have 4 people in Zambia who are hospitalized. The ones who are in prison, they've started releasing them, no charges. So the cost is not a cost to Dr. Besigye and a cost to the FDC. I want to invite Ugandans to begin looking at this as their own cost, because you can't continue living under gunpoint. Journalists, 12 of them holding a petition, you beat them. The Makerere strike started when girls, I think about 20, were taking a petition to the president's office. They are met with the military police. This is no longer an FDC Dr. Kizza Besigye problem. It's a Ugandan problem in which every Ugandan must participate in proposing and looking for a solution. Otherwise, when Uganda eventually collapses like Somalia did, like Libya did, we're all going to be victims. The Honorable Manya Mshega told me the other day that children who are paying the price in Somalia were not born when Siad Barre was a leader. Maybe people are going to pay the price for these things that are happening, maybe are not yet born. So I think as a country, yes, the FDC will provide leadership, but we must be debating solutions together as a country.
We must be debating solutions together as a country. Now, hypothetically speaking, let's say the FDC takes over the mantle 2021, takes over the presidency. What are you willing to do different?
We have in all the elections announced. First of all, there are 2 problems. The first problem is getting into power. The second problem is rebuilding Uganda, restoring confidence, but also getting an accountable government. The biggest problem today now, and I told Mr. Museveni I had an opportunity to have a debate with him. When he came into power, Uganda was the project. Along the way, he became the project. There are many things you'll do differently. Look at the budgeting itself, the investment that Uganda is making. Today, the biggest investment is, if you look at the budget of 2019-2020, a quarter of the budget has been given to defense. 3 trillion shilling classified expenditure, which is the money that Mr. Museveni is throwing at people. The budget of police has moved from 500 billion shilling to 1.2 trillion. You are making minimal investment in education. You are making minimal investment in health. And that's why every year we spend about 300 billion shilling transporting big people to go and get treatment in India. So the first thing that the FDC will do and must do is to realign the budget according to the needs, the social provision of Ugandans. And then you need to build the confidence in the leadership. You must understand that leadership is service. The moment you do that, even if we are in power for only 1 year or for 1 term, the moment you restore confidence, you restore people's power to put in people in government and removing them at will, then the rest will sort itself out. Because there are many experts who will come and help you sort out government, including those you can hire from outside. But the trouble is that today you have a government which I don't even know that they know the direction that they want to take, because they are preoccupied with one thing, power. And that's how they are budgeting in the parliament. How much money do you make available? Now the president took over, we had money for youth livelihood fund, 100 billion shilling. It went to him. The money for NAD is 500 billion shilling, is under his brother. So that chaos must be stopped. And I can assure you the FDC will stop that chaos.
Now, Mr. Semiju, the NRM government contends that the reason you've been losing to them is because you do not focus on what you're willing to do for the population when you get into power, but you're focusing on one person who is President Museveni, that he has to go. I asked you a question what you would be able to do for the country when you take over power in 2021, but the focus was President Museveni right there has to go. Don't you think that is derailing?
How shall we get in power when he's there?
But you're focusing on him instead of the bigger picture.
The biggest problem today now in Uganda, and I don't shy away from it, is
can we focus on the policies, the FDC?
Which policies?
Yes, your policies that you're willing to put in place.
I have faced the same questions when I go to meet, because even if you're going to implement the same policies, For example, is stealing part of NRM's policy? Every year we lose 1 trillion shillings stolen. Is that an NRM policy that you will steal public resources?
So what would you do different to trans-corruption and all these archaic things that are happening?
You see, the moment you are not overcome by pursuit of power, because just to go back to when Museveni came to power, I think in 1986, and I've told you, even to slaughter a bull from a government farm, Museveni needed clearance, and he sought clearance from the Inspectorate of Government.
Mr. Samujungan, I think we shall first have to take a little bit of a breather right now.